Hi, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Jessica, and this is She's on Top, the community where we celebrate and connect women.
Today we're talking about inside-out congruency, what it is and why it's important.
Inside-out congruency is something that applies to your style, which was how we originally learned it, which Tracy's going to explain, but it also applies to your business. And what it is are you presenting on the outside what you feel on the inside? Like, are the two autonomous? And so so everything matches. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. We actually found Stasia through a TED Talk, a fantastic TED Talk, which we will reference below, and we'll put a link to it so you guys can check it out. And we learned what inside-out congruency was, and we ended up signing up for Stasia's Style School. And we're going to share some of the things that we learned well, not actually some of the tips we learned, but how it relates to business.
And just so you know, before you, make sure you watch her TED Talk, because it's not about fashion. She uses fashion as her platform, but it's really about, one of the things that we loved about it, it's really about how everything is connected. And we're about to explain why.
One of the first things we had to do in Style School is we had to go through our closets and we had to eliminate things that didn't make us feel good. So sort of like the Marie Kondo, where you go through the stuff, but it was more than that. You had to like run your hands over the fabric, you had to hold it up against you, try it on, and see how you felt when you were wearing it. And sometimes it can be really hard to do, but initially when we did it, I had a memory of a time that Jessica and I shot a video for She's on Top. And I had bought this shirt that I hated. It was white with like black stripes on it, but it was like really expensive. So we were doing the shoot and I'm like, I'm gonna wear the shirt because it was really expensive, and this way I can justify the money I spent on it because I'm gonna wear it. So I wore it for the shoot, and then when we were editing, I'm like, I hate how I look in that shirt. Why did I wear that shirt? And so what is really cool that I learned when I was going through my closet and taking out things that made me feel good was it's the same in your business. Sometimes you hang on to stuff in business because you paid money for it. Maybe you put up a website, for example, and you really don't like that website, but I spent so much money on it, I've got to keep it. And what ends up happening is it represents you in the wrong way. So you've held on to it because you spent money on it, but it's not serving you. And sometimes you just have to let go of those things.
And it's really hard when you've spent money, because I think sometimes there can almost be a little bit of an ego thing or a shame thing, because you don't want to admit, actually, I got it wrong. There's always shame around, I invested in something or spent money, and you feel like, oh, it's wasteful. But it's not wasteful. What's wasteful is continuing to hang on to something that isn't working for you. That actually costs you more money.
It's true, and there's also the guilt factor. I guess shame and the guilt go hand in hand. You feel guilty because you spend the money and like, why the hell are you throwing it out? But sometimes you just have to, and I think that applies to lots of things in life. We hang on to things because we think they're going to make it, because we spent money on them, and that's not a reason to keep something.
No, and one thing that I've learned, or that we've learned from every story, there is no success without a trail of failures beforehand. So it's not a failure, it's just a step to success.
And that shirt was a big failure.
Another thing that we really learned was about dressing for how you want to show up in the world, which is really interesting because it really does affect your business. This is where it literally connects, because sometimes, especially like right now, it's cold and gray and rainy outside. And my tendency in the past, especially if I'm working from home, is kind of like, oh, I'm working from home, it's raining, I'll just, stay in my pajamas and throw a sweatshirt over it. But that actually makes me feel tired. And I actually need to do the opposite. I find on a gray and rainy day, I actually think, okay, how do I want to feel? It's gray and rainy. I know how I do feel. How do I want to feel? Well, I want to feel energized, enthusiastic. So I have to literally look at my clothes and find that kind of inspiration. So I found that helpful.
I found that really helpful. We had to come up with like some power words about how we felt. And so like, how do I feel today? Like today I feel fun. So maybe I'm gonna wear like an orange shirt and I go out into the world and I feel fun. Today I'm gonna feel serious and strong. And it's amazing how much clothes affect you. I never put any thought into my clothes. I mean, I put some thought, but it was more like what I should be wearing. So I'm going to a meeting, I should be wearing, a suit jacket. But I would just feel kind of boring. Well, if I want to feel exciting, I don't want to wear a suit jacket. Maybe I want to wear my leather jacket and feel like more spicy than serious. So I think it's really, really important. And it goes back to the image you want to portray in your business too, right? Like, how do you want to show up in the world in every way?
The other thing that I loved about this process, and any process like this, but this was quite brilliant, was a lot of times in life we get stuck. We get stuck in the clothes we're wearing. So we'll just use that as an example here. But you buy the same kind of shirt, the same kind of pair of jeans, and you're like, oh, that's just me. And you never experiment. You never get out of that box. And so you end up kind of trapped. I think it's the same thing in a business. You can get trapped in your own business and not experiment. And maybe if you played around a bit or got help or got questions or asked somebody's opinion, then you might find that, maybe it isn't what you originally thought.
Yeah, that's really it's so true. So I don't see myself as, for example, as a dress person, but I started experimenting a little bit with dresses, and then I matched them up with jackets and boots, and I thought, wow, no, I can wear dresses, and I actually feel really good in them, where I never saw myself as that. And even when we started She's on Top, I'm a behind the camera person. I never want to be in front of the camera. But it's actually not too bad. Like once,
and you're really good at it. Yeah.
I'm getting better at it. But I think it helps you to push yourself a little bit and don't get stuck in how you think you should be. Another one of the things in style school that we learned that I loved was how accessories can really jazz up an outfit. So, often when I get dressed, yes. I would, just throwing, Jess and I are meeting, like she said, we're working from home, and so just throw on a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. But just by putting on like the necklace or a different pair of earrings, not only changed the look, it changed the way that I felt. I would feel more powerful, I would feel more exciting. And I think that applies to business, because if you have, let's say, for example, we go back to the website example, you have a website and you don't like it anymore, you don't have to scrap the whole thing. Maybe you can just change one little thing. Maybe you can accessorize that website, or you can accessorize that business plan by just tweaking it or adding one little thing, so it goes from just being ordinary to suddenly, wow, it's amazing. So sometimes we think we have to scrap everything. We don't. So the accessory in the earring or the necklace, jazzes up the outfit.
I think that's actually brilliant, and because it also means relatable. You don't have to spend a lot of money.
Yes.
It's just about experiment and tweaking. And sometimes, a $5 necklace or a necklace you already have there or whatever it is, or a scarf changes your whole outfit. As Tracy was saying, a little tweak in your business, a little change the way that you're approaching it. One small can make a big difference. Like you said, you don't have to create a brand new thing and spend tens of thousands of dollars. If something isn't working, it doesn't mean you have to collapse the whole thing. One of the funnest and maybe the most supportive things, and something that we're trying to actually create here, was the community.
Yes.
You were put in groups, you were surrounded by people who believed in you, who were supporting you, who were cheering you on, who were sharing their successes, their failures, and sharing their vulnerabilities. It really related to what we're trying to do with She's on Top. I really found that whether it's, in this case it happened to be style, but everything flows into each other. It's like, find a community, find people that have your back, find people that can support you, because the isolation sometimes is the problem.
It really is. We had to take pictures of what we were wearing and post it into these Facebook groups. And you got the most amazing feedback. I mean, the key was no one was negative, but it really gave you confidence. It made you feel not so alone trying on different things. And that's so key, I think, in business. To do it alone is really hard. And that's our hope for She's on Top, that we can create some kind of community, because it is hard doing things alone. And the community is huge. It was like in the Stasia Style School. I think it was one of the best parts of the Style School was the community that she created.
So we've shared just a few tips from Stasia's Style School, but you really need to sign up, because this is not a sponsored video. We don't, Stasia doesn't even know that we're doing it. It's really coming from our heart and our soul. It was so much fun, and it affected us in a multitude of more ways than what we've expressed here, hasn't it?
It really did. I think for me, it really helped me. I think it boosted even confidence about what I want to wear, not caring about what people think. And now when I get dressed, even if we are just staying home working, I put on the earrings, I put on the accessories, I feel better, I feel more confidence, I have better ideas. It was fantastic.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, we would love you to become part of our community, and you can do that by following us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
And you can also sign up for our YouTube channel, and if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and also leave comments below. We love your comments.
And finally, we have a newsletter. It's great because we share things from our community that we don't share here, and we can share a lot of, articles, podcasts, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure to sign up for the newsletter as well.
Thanks for watching.